It doesn't really matter where you are. People knows the things that we as a country have been doing, lead by Mr. President Bukele.
Yeah, it's really impressive, and it spans over so many things. You know, first of all, when he made Bitcoin legal tender, that was pretty significant. Everybody in the Bitcoin world was like, "Whoa, this is big, right?"
Yeah.
And then the arresting of all the gang members. So, you know, how important was that in terms of, like you said, you touched on it a little bit, that before it was a mess. So how did getting the gang members off the streets help the education system?
I mean, you can experience that when you are in I take advantage of this opportunity and invite you to join me. I am a minister that likes to go to the countryside, to the schools, and have the first experience with them, not the things that I read for the newspapers or any social media. I want to experience that in the field, in the countryside. So I take the advantage and I make an invitation to you to join me in one of my trips, and you to experience the things that I'm saying. I mean, I'm not lying at all. I mean, things really change there. We used to have in our schools gang members that belong to the schools, students, even teachers somehow. There were some teachers that were not because they wanted, but because of they were, how do you say that? They were part of that because otherwise they're going to get killed.
Oh, wow.
So they've been forced in order to contribute with them. And that is things that you, right now, you can feel it. I mean, we just have a international test named PISA. And one of the great things that appears in that study is that our students feel secure going to the school and going back from school to their places, to their houses.
And before they did.
I mean, before it was impossible. Before if you were walking in your way to the school, there were the gang members there controlling the territory. We used to have in El Salvador some communities that not even the armed forces were able to get in. Otherwise, they're going to be shot within the community. Yeah, if the armed forces wanted to get in, they have to have, like convoy going, I don't know how many, 300 armed forces people get into that in order to try to do something. But it was not possible because they were, camouflage within the community. So I used to work for an NGO. And for me to get into one of those community, I have to call to the leaders on the community, and the leader had to talk with the leader of the gang members, and they allows you to get in the time, the type of vehicle that you have to use. For no reason you were able to use a white pickup truck, like for example. Because those are the one that police forces uses to get in, right? So you for no reason you were able to do that. But also you have to have some signs, like for example, like the emergency lights on for them to know. And at the very entrance of the community, there were one of their members checking and texting that you were about to get in. And as soon as you got there, they were controlling everything. So that is the El Salvador that we have to live for more than 30 years until, and there was like a bunch of initiatives, not really a policy in order to, control the territory until we got President Bukele. He started at the very beginning to think on how he's going to deal with that cancer that we used to have in our society. At the very beginning, he started, planning with the armed forces, with the police force, and getting them in a very better position in order, to deal with them. So now we do have the new Salvador. We have been witnessing the reborn of our lovely and loved country. Salvadorans, we do love our country, and you can see it. Everybody aboard of our borders, they are thinking all the time on what is going to be the time to come back.
Well, that's the thing I've noticed is the amount of pride that I've seen from El Salvadorians. And so I live in Los Angeles.
Yep.
And there's a lot of El Salvadorians.
Absolutely. The second big city with Salvadorians all over the world.
And, hearing something on my face there.
You do, yeah.
I do.
It's gone.
This is now the third time I've come down here. And each time I've been on a plane full of El Salvadorians. Yeah. And they're like packed and excited to come down. Mm-hmm. This last time I came 4 days before the election, and everyone was like on the plane, ready to vote, get their thumb, get the ink on the thumb. Yeah. And then to also see the lines of El Salvadorians at embassies all over the United States and the world. Mm. That was amazing. And when I came here the first time, she's a tour guide, Sandy Waves, took me we went to Los Compañeros, one of those the neighborhoods that used to be very dangerous. And we were able to walk around. And she was telling me how dangerous this would have been. Like she would have been killed or something. Like it would have been awful. And she said something. She goes, I didn't used to be proud to be El Salvadorian. She goes, now I'm proud.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest with you, Mr. Minister, I used to be proud to be American. It's kind of reversed. I'm not as proud to be an American anymore because America is going, like, in my opinion, in the wrong directions. But so it's impressive to see how proud El Salvadorians are, and how they all just couldn't wait to vote and come down. The voter turnout was huge. The 85% as you talked about, that's like never happened in any democracy ever.
Never.
I mean, that is in America, if somebody gets 55% of the vote, they say it's a landslide in America. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah. So these numbers are really, really something else. I mean, as you were saying, there's no country, there's no situation like the one we lived past election in El Salvador. So we are so proud of that.